There is a massive, unverified storyline circulating right now that completely shifts the entire paradigm of what we thought we knew. Word on the street is that Sonny has secretly uncovered the deepening bond between Carly and Valentine. He apparently knows all about Valentine, heading to Geneva to meet with Z and expose Ross. But instead of sitting back and letting this espionage game play out, Sonny is reportedly sending Brick to Geneva to secretly intercept, attack, and kidnap Valentine before that crucial meeting ever happens. Simultaneously, Sonny is preparing to launch a direct, brutal raid on Windermere to take out Cassius and rescue Jocelyn himself, effectively opening a massive multi-front war to eliminate every single threat on the board. This is where the narrative gets incredibly fascinating, guys. Let us look at the deep psychological layer of this potential move. Sonny has always possessed a massive blind spot, or rather, a deeply ingrained territorial instinct when it comes to Carly. Even when they are absolutely not together and living separate lives, he simply cannot stand the idea of certain men stepping into his perceived territory, especially someone as formidable as Valentine. If this rumor holds true, this is not just a tactical military strike. This is a purely ego-driven annihilation. He wants to erase Valentine from the board entirely, ensuring that whatever romantic spark was growing between him and Carly is permanently extinguished before it can ever become a roaring flame. Think about how he has historically dealt with threats to his inner circle. We have seen this exact behavioral pattern from Sonny time and time again over the years. Whenever a rival even looks at his family structure, he does not just warn them off, he completely removes them from the equation. By sending Brick to Geneva, he is applying that classic isolation tactic on a global scale. He is ensuring Valentine vanishes in a foreign country, far away from Carly, making it look to the rest of the world like Valentine just abandoned his mission, failed miserably, or simply ran away to save his own skin. Let us talk about the Geneva aspect of this rumored plan, because sending Brick is a brilliantly calculated choice. Brick is not just a standard enforcer. He is a master tactician, a technological genius, and a ghost when he needs to be. Valentine is a highly trained spy, incredibly lethal, and naturally paranoid. For Sonny to believe Brick can track, intercept, and kidnap Valentine before he reaches Z means Sonny is putting all his absolute best resources on the table. It shows a level of supreme confidence in his organization. But it also highlights how desperately Sonny needs to control the entire narrative. If Valentine successfully meets Z, Valentine becomes the triumphant hero who stopped Ross. Sonny simply cannot allow another man to wear that cape. If Brick actually manages to successfully kidnap Valentine, the implications for the broader story are absolutely staggering. Valentine is already risking his own freedom, terrified of being thrown back into a dark, unforgiving cell for the rest of his life. To be snatched up by Sonny's operative right at the finish line is a poetic, yet incredibly cruel twist of fate. It forces Valentine to fight an impossible two-front war of his own, surviving Brick's tactical assault while still desperately trying to get the critical intelligence to Z about Ross. This rumored plotline strips Valentine of his agency and his redemption arc just when he thought he was doing the right, selfless thing for Carly and her daughter. Meanwhile, back on the home front, the second phase of this rumored war is equally explosive and dangerous. We know Jocelyn is currently trapped behind the cold stone walls of Windermere, dealing with the absolute madness and delusion of Cassius. The rumor suggests Sonny is absolutely not waiting for the authorities to handle this, and he is certainly not waiting for Valentine's convoluted spy games to bear any fruit. He is planning a direct, overwhelming, and violent raid on the castle. This is vintage, unfiltered behavior from him. When his family is in the crosshairs, subtlety and patience completely go out the window. Kicking down the doors of Windermere to personally drag Cassius into the light and rescue Jocelyn is the ultimate, undeniable power move. Just look at the current layout of the terrifying hostage situation at Windermere. You have Cassius holding all the literal and figurative cards, manipulating everyone around him, and keeping Jocelyn locked away in constant fear. If Sonny violently breaches those walls, he bypasses all the bureaucratic red tape and the slow-moving police investigations. We have seen Sonny do this exact thing before, ignoring protocols and handling delicate hostage situations with raw, unapologetic firepower. If he personally rescues Jocelyn from that nightmare, he instantly cements himself as the ultimate, irreplaceable protector of the family, completely overshadowing any noble efforts Valentine might have attempted. He wins the psychological war for his family's unwavering loyalty. The most tragic and compelling layer of this entire unverified storyline, however, is Carly's complete and utter ignorance. She is sitting there, completely unaware of the massive storm brewing, putting all of her faith and belief in Valentine. She genuinely thinks he is out there being the Dark Knight, sacrificing his own safety to save her daughter and expose the corrupt agents. If Sonny is truly pulling these devastating strings from the shadows, he is essentially playing God with Carly's heart and her fragile trust. He is letting her hold on to a desperate hope while actively dismantling and destroying the very man she is putting her faith in. But let me pause here and play devil's advocate with myself for a moment. Is Sonny truly doing this out of pure toxic possessiveness over Carly? Or is there a genuine, pragmatic, and necessary justification for this massive escalation? If we look at the situation objectively, Valentine is a massive wild card with a history of deception. Ross is a highly trained, incredibly lethal threat with international backing, and Cassius is an unpredictable ticking time bomb. Maybe Sonny genuinely believes that relying on a former mercenary's shadowy spy contacts in Geneva is simply too risky when his stepdaughter's actual life is on the line. Perhaps this aggressive multi-front assault is the only guaranteed way to neutralize Cassius, Ross, and Valentine all at once, ensuring absolute, uncompromising safety for his bloodline. It is a genuinely tough call to make when analyzing his true motivations. On one hand, you have the overbearing, controlling figure who simply cannot let the mother of his children move on with a rival. On the other hand, you have a fiercely protective father figure who knows deep down that in his dangerous world, if you want a job done right and your family kept safe, you have to do it yourself. If Sonny waits for Z to handle Ross, he leaves his family's ultimate fate in the hands of a shadowy, untrustworthy intelligence agency. Sonny has never trusted the authorities, let alone international spy syndicates. Taking out Valentine might just be necessary collateral damage in his broader, ruthless crusade to eliminate Ross and Cassius entirely on his own terms. And we absolutely cannot forget the Ross factor in all of this complex maneuvering. Ross is the venomous spider sitting right in the center of this massive, tangled web of espionage and danger. If Sonny's rumored master plan actually works, he does not just get Jocelyn back safely. He perfectly positions himself to strike the final killing blow against Ross. By cutting off Valentine's mission in Geneva, Sonny forces Ross into a tight corner where Ross has to deal with the street-level organization directly, rather than hiding safely behind international espionage shields and government red tape. It is a brilliant, albeit terrifying, strategic pivot. It changes the entire battlefield from a sophisticated spy thriller into a gritty, uncompromising, and brutal street war. Imagine the sheer catastrophic fallout if this rumored plan actually comes to light and the dust finally settles. If Brick successfully takes down Valentine in Europe and Sonny violently takes down Cassius at Windermere, the immediate pressing threat is indeed gone. Jocelyn is brought home safe and sound. But what happens when Carly eventually finds out the truth? And guys, she always eventually finds out the truth. The profound sense of betrayal she will feel will be absolutely astronomical. She will realize that Sonny did not just step up to save her daughter. He deliberately, maliciously sabotaged a man who was fully willing to throw his own life away for her. It would create a massive emotional rift so deep and so painful between Sonny and Carly that it might be completely unbridgeable for years to come. This potential storyline perfectly encapsulates the duality of his character. He is a man who builds fortresses to protect the people he loves, but often ends up locking them inside against their will. If he successfully executes this multi-front campaign, he will prove once again that he is the undisputed king of his domain. He will outsmart the spies, overpower the kidnappers, and eliminate the international threats without breaking a sweat. But the collateral damage to the emotional lives of the people he is trying to protect will be immeasurable. He is treating human beings, specifically Carly and Valentine, like disposable chess pieces in a game only he is allowed to win. That is the beautiful, heartbreaking tragedy of this potential storyline. Sonny might win the physical war, secure his perceived territory, and violently eliminate every single threat currently on the board. He might take down Cassius, neutralize Ross, and erase Valentine from the picture entirely. But in doing so, he severely risks becoming the very controlling monster Carly thought he had finally outgrown. He might save the family from external destruction, but at what catastrophic cost to his own soul and his fragile relationship with the woman he claims to protect? It leaves us wondering, when the smoke finally clears at Windermere and the echoes fade in the streets of Geneva, who will actually be the real captive?
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.